Hey guys, so I want to talk a little bit about ELLIOT RODGER. Now I know that there have been videos made about him before and I don't want to repeat anything that's already been said. I'm sure you've seen the video that he made several times, so I'm not going to sit here and show clips of that. But what I do want to say is that whenever a tragedy happens, and this is something that happens every single time and it annoys the shit out of me every single time, people like to hop onto these types of issues like vultures. They see something and they think it's going to help them with their movement or their political agenda, and they use it to their advantage, which is just disgusting. And they like to downplay, in this case, mental illness. This guy was clearly mentally insane. Now, I'm looking at the video that he made and other things that he said. It's clear that he is not mentally stable. I am not part of the human race. Humanity has rejected me. The females of the human species have never wanted to mate with me, so how could I possibly consider myself part of humanity? Humanity has never accepted me among them, and now I know why. I am more than human. I am superior to them all. I am ELLIOT RODGER, magnificent, glorious, supreme, eminent, divine. I am the closest thing there is to a living God. Humanity is disgusting, depraved, and evil species. It is my purpose to punish them all. I will purify the world of everything that is wrong with it. On the day of retribution, I will truly be a powerful God, punishing everyone I deem to be impure and depraved. How can anybody look at something like this and say, I think it's because he was misogynistic, or I think it was because of something else. I don't think it was so much of a mental illness. Now, there are other things that come into play, but he was mentally ill. I think that that paragraph that I just read kind of proves it. But there are people who like to hop on the bandwagon and say that it's different things. I don't think I've heard this yet, but a lot of times when these things happen, people say, oh, it's because of a violent video game that they played, or it's because of a violent movie that they watched. They never want to blame the actual problem. Now in this case, the most ridiculous thing I saw was blaming the killings on a homosexual impulse. Leave it to Fox News to say that he was simply angry at women for taking men away from him. And of course you can't have any kind of shooting without everybody coming out and talking about gun control. Even though he stabbed people to death, he killed more people using other things. He ran people over with his car. I mean, he didn't only kill people with a gun. Now, I understand that he had a gun, and that helped him be more violent, but let's look at the problem for what it is. We have a kid who is out to kill by any means necessary. Guns are not the problem. This kid's mental instability is the problem. But nobody really cares about those facts because he's still going to be the poster child for gun control. The trolls are unbelievable. Every time someone goes on a killing rampage, the gun nuts come flying out of the woodwork to blame Obama, the liberals, the Democrats, the ACLU, and the apparent lack of good men with guns. Thanks, Obama. And last but not least, we have all the feminists. Now, don't get me wrong, it was a man, he was violent, and a lot of times there are some men out there who do get violent whenever they don't get what they want, when they don't get the girl that they want, when they get rejected, when they don't get sex. I understand. But this kid is not a good example of that because he was mentally insane. Not to mention he killed more men than women. Gender equality is important, and when there's an issue that needs to be fought, stand up and fight it. That's fine, I have no problem with that. But don't take an issue like this and try to twist it around and downplay his mental instability to give more credit to misogyny. That's not okay to do. Now, on the other hand, I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that misogyny had nothing to do with it because this kid was clearly very misogynistic, and that's not okay. And it reminds me kind of people who are very, very liberal, very, very far left, and whenever an act of terrorism happens, they like to say it had nothing to do with the religion. The religion's totally peaceful and a-okay. But it has everything to do with the mental state of the terrorist. That's a bunch of bullshit because, yeah, the terrorist might be mentally unstable, but the religion is something that had a large influence on what happened, and it's normal to fear that religion as a result. But the difference is that men are not subscribed to a particular religion that endorses that kind of behavior. There's not like a rule code book for men that says that they're superior to women that they follow. It's not like that. This is the equivalent of taking anybody from the Middle East and saying that I'm going to be afraid of them because they're from the Middle East. Just because somebody has a penis does not give you reason to fear them. And I don't like this victimization that women like to take on so much. Like, I don't want to be labeled as a victim just because I have a vagina. That's why I hate the hashtag #YesAllWomen. Don't speak for me. I'm sorry, but I'm just not okay with raising a generation of women who are fearful of all men, who feel like they're always going to be a victim of things. And this is one thing I'll fault my mom for. Whenever I was little, we had bugs in our house. We had roaches. It was Florida. She was terrified of them. She would scream and run to get the bug spray, and it was this huge ordeal. So I was raised with that. And now I have this phobia of bugs. If I see one, if I even get too close to one, I might actually cry. That's how scared I am of bugs. And if I hadn't been raised like that, maybe I would just step on them with a shoe. Maybe I would just kick a bug out of the house, pick it up and throw it away. I don't know. I wouldn't freak out like I do now. And I feel like we're doing something kind of similar. We're raising young women to be afraid of all men, and that's not okay. It reminds me a lot of all the anti-bullying campaigns that go on, and that's great because bullying is a problem just like misogyny is a problem. But the problem that people have with this is they try to fix the bullies. And as much as you try, it's not ever going to work completely. What you have to do is you have to target the kids who are being bullied and teach them to stand up for themselves. Don't teach them to be afraid, teach them to fight against it. And there's nothing wrong with fighting for equal rights between genders. I am an advocate of that. I just don't like how these men are villainized so much, because just because you have a penis and balls does not mean that you need to be grouped and generalized with Elliot Rodger. And that's incredibly offensive to men when you do that. And I'm sorry, but this whole movement I keep seeing tweets like this, and it's so, it pisses me off. Like, look at the problems for what they are. Don't twist issues to suit your needs, to suit your movements, to promote your political agenda. Don't be that vulture that hops on every single tragedy to get out of it what you want. That is just so disgusting to me and so irritating, and I just had to make a video rant about it. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comment section below. I know I probably went off on a tangent a little bit with this video, but I feel like it's something that hasn't been quite said yet. So anyways, make sure you let me know what you think in the comment section below. Like this video, share it everywhere. If you like my awesome fiction shirts, I sell fiction and logic shirts. It helps support my channel a lot. Go to JacquelineGlenn.com. I'll have a link in the description. Thanks so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!
There's no God, he doesn't exist, so don't try to save me. Use your fucking brain and leave us all alone. Subscribe!